Welcome to our second Zoom meeting or Zoom class this afternoon. Last week we had one Zoom session already. It was just an introduction, and it was like lots and lots of talk flying around about assessment. And I believe as certified teachers, we have already, we have a very rich knowledge through workshops and a lot of workshops that we may have been going through around assessment. And for this course, as a course towards your diploma qualification, this one is based on literacy assessment. So with our broad understanding and knowledge around assessment, for this course, we want to be encouraged to just look at assessment, but mostly in the context of literacy. Okay, so that is basically the content of this course, which is your second and your final course for your diploma qualification. I would maybe I will start off with the assessment task 1. We have started off our assessment task. We have 3 assessment tasks, and we have started already assessment task 3, which is our reflective discussion that is part of our assessment task 3. And the first one was due, the first assessment task, part A of assessment task 3 was due already last Sunday, and we have a good number of people who have submitted. According to our registration of submission, we have 21 students who have submitted, so that is a very good turnout. A lot better than last year. So thank you so much for people who have put in efforts to submit on time. I think I can see now that being teachers, being parents, and being student is a real challenge, but with this submission, it has already shown an improved participation from particularly from you as a student. So we have 21 submitted. We still have a good number of people, but it's less than 20 who haven't submitted yet. So hopefully they will submit. For people who were not here last week, we are now on week 5. Next week will be our week 6. Last week also, I have discussed restrictions. So let me make this clear again, particularly for people who were not in our Zoom meeting last week, that if you did not submit your reflective discussion part A of assessment task 3, you may see that maybe you are still working around week 4. Okay, even that you are working around week 4, people who have submitted have moved on to week 5. So until you submit your part A reflection for assessment task 3, you will be able to access week 5. So with this one here, we have over 10 people who haven't submitted, and I believe maybe you will see that you did not access week 5 yet, but know that we are already on week 5, and today is end of week 5, and if you did not submit yet your part A reflection, then we will be moving on to week 6, when you will be still stuck on week 4. So to help yourself, speed up yourself, I'm just encouraging all of us. We are all very mature people. Manage yourself so that you can have your course material success on time. Okay, so next week, as of Sunday, we have week 6. And also we will have our assessment task 1, which will be due. And that is our essay. The essay, let me also just remind us, the essay is also has a lot of weight. 20%, 40% is a really, really, really big assignment. Okay. Note that we only have 3 assessment tasks. The assessment task 2 is 40%, assessment task 1 is 40%. So take your time to not rush your assessment task 1, but ensure that you are doing it really well so that you get your 40% or at least above 20% to be on the safe side. Okay. Okay, so I'm just reminding you, the essay is worth a lot of mark. As I've said, 40% is very, very heavy. Look at the marking criteria. Okay, I have already started reading. Our reflection, and let me just remind us here that please do not copy paste. Do not copy paste directly. Make sure that your discussions are in line with assessment task questions, as well as you are contextualizing or paraphrasing what you have copied straight from internet. Make sure you also appreciate and use index referencing, and also appreciate places or sources where you get your idea from. A few of the reflections that I have just read through is mostly direct copy paste, and when you do direct copy paste, you may see that you will lose mark. So look at the marking criteria to guide you for the 40%. I'm talking about assessment task 1 here. For the 40%, please students, look at the marking criteria. Make sure you understand the marking criteria, and then you write your essay. Okay, we have our guiding questions for that one there, for assessment task 1. You are to choose some of the assessment method. Reading, running, record is one of them. Reading and comprehension is one. Oral or public speaking is one other. Text types, debate, portfolio, phonemic awareness, phonological awareness. So all of those, you can select your assessment task from there. And then do your write-up around that assessment task. Okay. You also have listening and speaking. For example, I'll give you an example. For example, you are reading a story. The students are listening, and to check their understanding, you ask questions. But that they are listening, and then they can record their answers in writing, then you collect and mark. Okay. So you can also listening for information, or listening, but also understanding what they're listening for. You can also do speaking. I've put in public speaking here, but there are also other little speaking exercises that you can assess. Okay, so you are to ensure that in your essay, that you discuss the purpose and the importance of the chosen assessment method. Okay, I will also encourage you people to state what class your assessment is targeting, the assessment method that you choose, that it is for which year level class. And as well, I would like to know what macro strands your assessment will be centered around. And for that, I'm talking about whether it is listening, speaking, reading, writing, viewing. So what are the macro strands that your assessment method falls under? And also, if you can, you can identify the learning outcomes. Okay, and for the learning outcomes, you will need to consult. The Vanuatu National Primary School Language Syllabus, class 1 to 3 and class 4 to 6. So I'm just brainstorming around here that but as part of your essay, your assessment method, what class level you are looking at discussing this assessment method for, and what learning outcomes in the Vanuatu language syllabus, and the substrand. So we have skills and strategies, and we have production, and we have text and context. It is best to look into skills and strategies to identify the substance skills from there that you might want to look at, or you can look at the production. For text and context, you can always select the text that you feel you are going to use, or the context of where to do the assessment. Discuss how you will assess it, okay? And the monitoring and evaluation processes and strategies that you will use, and that is this week's subtopic. And then how you will record the students' achievement. We are we are certified people. We've done lots of recording. That is prior knowledge. However, a bit of content and samples of recording students' literacy achievement will be our topic for next week. Recording and reporting, that will be next week's topic. And also state and discuss how you can manage your students' literacy assessment data. Okay, that will still come in next week. Yes, it will be next week. So basically, by the end of next week, you should be fed, or you should be provided with all the information necessary for you to do your or complete your assessment task 1. Okay, and your presentation for the assessment should consist of the following: and a brief introduction, and then your major points and ideas you want to discuss. It will be also very good. It will be also very good for you to support your discussion with examples, because as you relate with your discussions with example, it kind Alina, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so I will continue where I stopped. I stopped where, well, I finished all the details for assessment task 1 now. So maybe, yes, please.
Can you begin where it's you start from the introduction coming down from? That's when I got lost from my end here. Okay. Introduction coming down to the points and ideas, supporting with examples and coming down, because that's where I lost from my end.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Okay, so just what Stephen is asking is just your presentation, the layout, your presentation layout of your essay. So you have your introduction. So you do, yes, do a paragraph on introduction, state the aims and objectives, and then you have your major points. Okay, so maybe your major points will be spread out into paragraphs discussing the purpose of it, and then discussing how you will be assessing, and then maybe another paragraph on monitoring, evaluation. Okay, so those are the main points, right? And then you would have maybe a bit of issues maybe that you want to put in there, but otherwise your main points, and your main points are the points that I want you to provide example. Okay, provide example to, you know, just to clearly show your understanding around the main points. For example, an example of monitoring. Okay, if you have chosen maybe reading comprehension, what monitoring tools will you use? Will it be a class monitoring, or will you extend it to school monitoring, and as well as evaluation? So monitoring and evaluation, those notes are now out there. If you did not submit your assessment task, part A, assessment task 3, which was due Sunday, then you may not access that. So please, you need to speed up. We are going to look at reporting and management of student assessment data will happen next week. So by next week, Sunday, we should have our essay dropped into the assignment Dropbox. Okay, and then we have our conclusion. As part of our conclusion, we also want to state some future work, some of the things that we've learned, and our aims or our goals in taking them into our classroom to enhance literacy teaching and learning. Okay, so that's about assessment task 1. I've already thanked everybody that it was a really good turnout, that most of our students, nearly half of our students, have already submitted part A of assessment task 3. So that is very good. And we are looking forward to assessment task 1 now. So I'll stop here a bit and just give you time if you have any question around assessment task 1 that you can ask me and see if I can help. Any one of you, if you want any clarification on assessment task 1, do so, ask question. Otherwise, yeah, I'll give you small time.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Simo.
Yes.
Going back to task 3, going back to task 1. That's the assignment, and looking through that, about the assessment methods, you have given only few of them. Can we pick from that list? Can we are we going to be from that list, or there are some that we can just use instead of picking up, if we have some from the readings that we have read? Yes, I was saying this because when I was looking through the readings, especially the PowerPoint presentation, I saw some extra assessment methods that has been mentioned in there, but in the task there are only few. So yeah, is that okay?
Yes, Stephen, it is okay. I have just given you small. As experienced teachers, we know a lot.
Yes.
Okay, and that is one very good thing about experienced and qualified people taking up courses, because when you come, because you are you've got all the experiences, so it's now a matter of writing it down, presenting it for marking for qualification. I agree with you. If you have some existing assessment method that you know, and you know that very well, it is very good. You can use, except that Stephen and everybody else, that you need to identify from your learning outcome where it comes from, the learning outcome. Okay. Yes. For example, if you choose reading comprehension, okay, good reading comprehension, but where is the learning outcome that guides that assessment? That will be taken from the learning outcome in the national syllabus. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Any more question? Okay. Okay. No more question. That's good. Yes.
If others don't have, I'll just I want to give another question, just a short one, If the writing exceeds the number of required writings, is that okay? Because sometimes we write and we write and we write. But if you go to 2.8, is that okay? Or 2.5 or 2.6?
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Yes, qualified teachers, they can, write and write and write and write. But because there are many of us, the marker will have to read and mark.
Thank you for
2000 is the word limit, as you can see. But yes, I can be flexible, maybe 2.3 or 2.5, but not 3,000.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. I will repeat myself again. Please, it is really good to read and get ideas from the internet or from other authors, but please paraphrase and acknowledge those sources in your writing. I have marked your work from last year and again this year. One thing I want to share with you people is some of us are just copying straight what I have on the lecture note and then putting it back for me to mark. Okay, no acknowledgement, it's cut and paste. Okay, you can use the ideas on the lecture notes, that is all fine, but not copy paste, you paraphrase. You can use ideas from other sources from internet, but not copy paste, paraphrase. It is evident for us to pick up copy paste work and also work that are not paraphrased. It is very easy. Remember that as students and as we study, we must learn to acknowledge sources where we find ideas from. Okay. So make sure that is done in your writing. Otherwise, we copy paste, and then it can be, we can just see that clearly. Okay, that's why I say you need to add in your examples. Okay, because your examples will now demonstrate your knowledge around what you're discussing. I hope this is clear. Okay, so that's about assessment task 1. Assessment task 3 part A, I have already mentioned a little bit. People are just, some people still copy straight from my lecture notes and drop them back in. Some people I can see copy from other sources and drop them in. This is our second course now. And let's practice acknowledging sources and using those sources. They are all good. They are all good ideas. But acknowledge sources, appreciate sources, and also learn to paraphrase, because you never know, after doing this course, maybe you want to do your bachelor. So if you're wanting to do your bachelor, that's all good, but we're not going to copy paste as we go higher into qualifications. Okay. Okay, so that's about it here. Last week I also mentioned that come with your questions. So I'll stop a little bit here. We've already gone past week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. Well, week 6 is next week. But so far we are now on week 5. And I believe people are reading. And I believe people may want some clarifications. So I'll just give a small time for people to ask questions. No question is not good. All questions are good. So ask to help us and help our other friends in class as well. So I'll just leave small time for question time. I am here particularly to help us with our assessment task 1, which is the essay, and also to listen to some challenges you might face or some questions that you want some answers to, and also questions in relation to week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. Okay. So it's just now our question and answer session. I am quiet and I am letting, yes, Roslyn, go. Roslyn, if you have any question, unmute and then share your question with us.
Okay, can you hear me for that? Hello? Okay, can you hear me?
Your internet connection is unstable. Ours.
Hello? Can you hear
Yes.
me? Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. I've got a question. Maybe I know it's simple for us to understand, but I've got some confusion after reading through the forum so far. Okay, my question goes like this. Can you clarify or can you explain what exactly forum discussion should look like? Because to me, maybe I'm wrong, you're going to correct me, but some looks like a summary or reflection or what, but what do you expect from these discussions since there are no responses? That's all from me. I'd like you to just to clarify.
Okay, good question. Thank you, Roslyn, for that question. Forum discussions are for us to share ideas, okay? It allows us to come together. That is our classroom. Our classroom, face-to-face classroom, is when we come together here. This is our classroom. Our classroom for sharing ideas is the forum discussion classroom, okay? Our reflection or our forum discussions for at week 3 was, of course, to be a bit, the word limit was, I did not say the word limit, but the way you guys are answering, I understood, because it took week 1, week 2, week 3 combined. We share our ideas around those ones. And there were some really fat paragraphs. There were quite a few paragraphs. However, some of those paragraphs were just straight copy-paste from lectures onto there. I must apologize, Roslyn, that you've mentioned very clearly that since there are no responses. I will explain just a little bit here. The explanation, besides a bit of delay to responses, is because this course LALT221, you may be aware of. This course is meant to be for semester 2.
Okay.
For us, it's going to be semester 1.
Mm.
The information wasn't, I wasn't aware. Therefore, all of us at SOE at the moment, we're developing and creating. So we're creating courses, developing resources and materials at the same time, uploading and going to, send out all the resources for students to access in order to learn. With that response, I have responded to a few of the discussion forums as of Monday this week. And I have stated where I feel people are still a bit confused. I sort of help clarify 1 or 2 things that I've seen, but I have started marking. That is one of the reasons why I come here, because I have to at least look at some people to have some pictures of what discussions are like. For the reflective discussion part A of assessment task 3, I have mentioned because I have at least seen nearly 10. Before coming here last night, I have also responded to some forum discussions. Yes, it is meant for you people to share ideas together, as well as teachers like Mrs. Simo to come in and help clarify some, and I have done some. I have not done all, I have done some. I also have a good number of primary students here that I am also assisting, and I am doing similarly the same thing. So I've read through some. I'm sorry if I haven't responded to you and your, but I think in you as a person, Roslyn, I have responded to you and a few others, but I may not have responded to everyone. However, forum discussion is where we exchange and share ideas together. For the coming up ones, starting from week, I will not put forum discussions every week. Okay, I will only put maybe for this course, it may be just 5. But please, with the 5, come in and share your ideas, because that is where we collaborate to build each other. We are far from each other. Share your ideas. All ideas are good. You might have a very good experience. This is our classroom. Okay. Okay. So for our next forum discussions, maybe 500 words is enough. Just being precise. Share your insight. It will help someone else. We are very rich with experience, and I know we have some very good ideas that we can share on this forum. Thank you, Roslyn. Forum, at least 500 words is good, and come and share your forum. Of course, I will try my very best to respond to some of the forums. I take note of that, and I will do my best to respond. Otherwise, I will also put a lot of effort in marking reflection assessment task part A to come back. But as I've said, I've seen one. So make sure our next reflection that comes up, no copy paste, but paraphrase, read abroad and read out on other sources. Research more to find more knowledge to help you with this literacy course. Okay, I hope I answered Roslyn's question. Any other question?
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
Okay. In here, my question is just not to pinpoint you, but all the participants. I think it is very important, as you've said, that we need to collaborate to help one another within what we read, and we have to comment or whatever,
yes.
Like that. But I'm not pinpointing you alone. Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you, Roslyn. So for week 5 forum discussion, okay, everybody, you are listening. For week 5 forum discussion, you don't just post your comment or what your idea. You can also read other person's idea and then make comment. Okay, make comments such as, wow, I like that idea. I think I will take on board your idea and try it out in my class. It looks good. And then maybe add a little bit of point. What do you think if this scenario or if this issue come up, how would you handle it? Then that person can come, can respond again. This is what it is all like. For USB, this is just it. A lot of universities are going online. So forum discussion is where we all come in and share our views, as well, going to respond to other people's views. Yes, I agree with you, Roslyn, not just Mrs. Simo, but all of us together. That is where we collaborate to increase each other's capacity, knowledge, and skills. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alina, do you have a question for us? Okay, I also want to just make small clarification. We have people questioning whether we have week 9 reflective discussion. That was a typo. I messaged everyone. We only have one reflective discussion for week 4, and we will have another one in around week 14, 15. Okay, otherwise there is no reflection discussion for week 9. No, we only have 2, but there will be forum discussion where it is a must for us to share our opinions and discuss with our other colleagues in the course. Okay, I'm waiting. Any question, please, to ask? All questions are good. Excellent questions.
Hello, Mrs. Simo. When I want to talk.
Yes, Kamewa?
Good afternoon. We have a question to ask. It's about readings from the major 1 and major 2, subtopic A, B, and C. Could you please briefly explain the difference between assessment, evaluation, and monitoring for more understanding? Thank you.
Good question. Those are the questions that we should bring here to help us. Remember, when we get to write our assessment task 1, those are the terms that we need to be cleared on. Okay, so assessment is the collection of data to assess outcomes. Okay, that is briefly what we went through for week 1. So for literacy, as I've said, your general knowledge around assessment, but with this course and with your discussions for your assessment task, I will strictly search for your interest into assessing literacy. Okay, so when your discussion is too broad, I know you are still lost, you are still broad. Okay, make sure all that focus of the discussion is narrowed and directed to literacy assessment. So what is literacy assessment? Okay, as teachers, literacy assessment refers to the decision-making process resulting in an examination, test of students' performance on literacy strands, our macro strands, listening, speaking, reading, writing, and all the sub-strands, skills and strategies, and production, what students can produce out of that. Okay, and all of this will result from the assessment task, literacy assessment task that we literacy teachers plan, design, using literacy outcomes or strand outcomes and sub-strand outcomes to allow students to participate. And as we all know, as experienced teachers, as students participate, we can collect data from that. Okay, we can see whether they've achieved or not achieved. Okay, so basically, literacy assessment refers to the decision-making processes resulting in an examination of students' performance. We have to examine students' performance on literacy task. Okay, and literacy assessment, which includes all aspects of assessment, ranges from formative response to student writing or up to high-stake assessments such as summative assessment. Okay, so basically literacy assessment, just like any other assessment, you collect data after you have examined someone's or a student's performance in regards to literacy or literacy language macro strands. Okay, so what's the next question? Monitoring. Okay. Monitoring is looking out for progress. Just trying to find monitoring and evaluation. Okay. So I'll just go a little bit brief on monitoring here and provide maybe a few examples. Okay. So monitoring is different from evaluation. Definitely true. It is different. Okay. So monitoring refers to the continuous and systematic use of data collected during the course of learning to track students' progress through a variety of forms such as daily reading logs, okay, class records, progress chart, checklist. Okay. So monitoring is actually you look at the data you collect over time to see whether people are improving or people are not improving. But you have to do it in a systematic way. Okay. One simple example is spelling. Okay. If you give your student 10 words this week, 10 words next week, and then at the end of the week, you test. Okay. You read out the words, the students are spelling, and maybe after 4 weeks of spelling test, you should be looking at the progress of individual students. Which or who is not progressing, who instead of progressing, they're slowly falling down, their score slowly falls down, who is sitting at the same level and not moving. Okay. So monitoring is you looking at student performances, and those performances can be indicated by numbers. I'm giving an example of spelling. Systematic, as I've said earlier, it's got to be something that you plan. And when you plan and you provide time for, then it will allow you to collect some trusted numbers. Okay. And one good example I've just shared with you is spelling. Okay. The other one is reading. Okay. If you want to assess reading, maybe you should get term 1. Maybe I read a reading comprehension where students read, and then I assess. Then next, maybe after a few weeks, maybe you want to do a 2 weeks intervals, and then you check the students' response. Where are the students answering more correctly? Is it the low-level question? Are they having difficulty with the whys and how question? Then those will inform your teaching. Okay. So monitoring is particularly looking at students' progress. And for you to look at students' progress, you document. Okay. You document students' progress. Okay. It's different from evaluation. Okay. Evaluation is making a judgment on students' performances based on maybe items of your assessment. For example, you ask what for your reading comprehension, you ask what question, what is the title of the story, how many characters in the story, why this happened, how was it solved, okay? And after that, you go on the individual questions and look at how many students got the what correct. What is the title of the story? How many students got that one right? How many students got the how correct? So we single out the assessment items, and we make a judgment on individual assessment item. If maybe all of the students had the what question right, then that's okay. That means they've understood well. If so many students had the question, struggling answering the question how, then that's where you do your judgment there. You look at the language you use, maybe the vocabularies were too high. You make judgment. You question, why is it that so many students are struggling with this particular question? Okay, so throwing judgment on student performances but in a bit more detail, you look at students' responses. I'll give you an example. When I do my judgment or evaluation of reading comprehension, I find that a lot of students usually get the what question correct, but a lot of students struggle with the how and the why. Then that's when I go to study more the possible causes that cause the students to struggle with such a question. And after I've identified, according to my judgment, after I've identified some of these answers to help students improve, I insert those practices into my reading comprehension exercises in class. And then you run your normal activities, but at the back of your brain or in your planning, you know that I will try and help them improve the responses to the why questions, the how questions. And then later on, you can assess again and compare. Okay, this was the first one. Then I did some judgment over it, evaluated. Okay, then you can draw your conclusions. Okay, so you collect your data and you look at the data. Some people move up, some people do not move up, some people stay the same. And when it comes to evaluation, you judge which is the one that most people struggle with. If I have answered your question, that's what I can give with the 3 terms that was questioned this afternoon: monitoring, evaluation, and assessment, but in the context of literacy. If you listen to Mrs. Simo, I am talking, but every now and then I make sure I use literacy terms because this course is literacy. So when you discuss your essay, I don't want you to use an example of maths in my essay. I don't want you to talk about science example. Yes, of course, literacy happens in all, but we want to highlight our literacy strands so we can improve literacy. And we know very well that literacy is the key to other subject areas. Okay, so yeah, that's my explanation for all of us this afternoon. I have also uploaded some monitoring template. For example, you might have seen in there, I've put in some template for you to enter your data, assessment data, literacy assessment data, and then look at the performance of student monitoring. And I think I have also uploaded on the PowerPoint that I have uploaded for monitoring. I'll just check on my paper here, but I think I have put an example of evaluating students' responses. Yes, I did. Where one particular question, everyone got 100%, but two particular question, a lot of students got 56. Then that's where you go and do your judgment. Judgment requires questioning. Why? What's wrong? Is the test, have I used vocabulary I haven't used in teaching time? Or have I really teach these types of questions? Have I really modeled how to answer this question? So you do your little questions to judge, to evaluate the performance of individual people's response. And of course, you take your assumed answers and plan into your literacy teaching and learning and continue to teach those particular skills. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Simo, for clarification. Just another question, is evaluation similar to analyzing?
Is evaluation similar to analyze? Close to, yes. You're analyzing students, you're looking at the numbers and you're trying to analyze. Yes, they're very close.
Thank you.
We have 5 minutes left. I am here just to help explain any concepts or any help with anything. Okay, so while you are still thinking about the question, I'm just looking and handing for people because they haven't turned up. Please, if any one of you has seen Tom Saute, we haven't seen him online for the last 22 days, which means that he was around earlier this year, and then we just want to get some communications from Mr. Tom Saute. The other one, I'm just saying name here, sorry if it's not too professional, but I just want to share names here, not that something is wrong, but just for us to help each other, okay? We want to help each other for the success of all of us. I'm also handing out for Annie Vanua. Annie Vanua, we haven't heard from you for quite a number of days now. Wilkins Alfred, and I can see someone here, so that's good. I've seen that person here. Connolly and Sarah. If any one of us in the classroom now, if any one of us is free. If any one of us has seen Wilkins, Connolly and Sarah along with Annie and Vanua, please pass the message that if they can kindly communicate to Mrs. Simo where their whereabouts are. Okay. Otherwise, let me remind you people that did not submit our reflection yet. Please make sure you submit sometimes this Sunday, because you can spend more time to prepare for your essay. Don't forget, people, essay is 40%. We want you to target 20 and above. And I repeat, provide lots of examples. Okay, provide lots of examples to discuss to support your discussion. Not many examples for one concept, but yeah, one example is enough. And 2,500 will be acceptable. And I also will be looking out for references, reference list. And of course, maybe I will see some in-text referencing, people appreciating sources where they use their information. Okay. Otherwise, thank you so much for this afternoon.
Simo?
Yes.
Yes. What you just said now about submitting before, what's that? Does that mean the Dropbox is still open for the task 3? Like you said now?
My apologies. Okay. What I've just mentioned is that Dropbox for
the task 3 you just mentioned.
Oh, the task 3. Yes, the task.
You just mentioned something about if you haven't submit yours yet, better submit before Sunday or something like this.
Okay.
Are you relating to the assignment task 3?
Yes, yes, I am relating to assessment 3, part A. That is the reflective discussion. By Sunday, remember, I repeat, you will not send your assessment task to Mrs. Simo by email. You have to drop it in that Dropbox. That's the key to heaven. you will. Yes, go ahead.
I'm not. Does that mean that means the task 3 has been extended the second time? That's okay. That's
yes,
okay. That's
yeah.
okay. Let's leave it there. That's okay. Just
yeah.
Thank you.
I have extended for some grace period.
Okay.
For some people, but the attendance is really good. That is something that I'm very, very happy about. But my point is that Dropbox is there. You did not submit. You don't access the future academic. Yes. Yes. So the key is drop them in the Dropbox. Don't email it to me. You email it to me, you are just locking yourself. You won't access. Yes. Yes. No email. Drop them. Access. Thank you, Big One, all families. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate everybody's effort. And I want it to be more collaborative. Please bring your question. Come. This is our classroom. Of course, always message me. I think I'm prompt to responding. Some people manage to find, some people manage to find me on FB. I'm so glad that you found me. It's a teamwork. Let's get together. We only have this year and then that's it.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, do we want to have another Zoom next week?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Because assignment is coming up.
So maybe next week I will come again, and when I come again next week, this Zoom is just for question. But next week I will come and talk a little bit about major topic 2, major topic 3, major topic 4, a summary of them, and then it should help you now to give you maybe a summarized content of week 1 to week 6, and then you will prepare your essay, 40% essay. Okay. So if next week it's okay, next week I will come and summarize week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, and then you will finalize your essay, and then you will submit it. I think I will give you week 7 for your submission. We'll create a Dropbox for week 7. All good, though? Okay, Rini?
Sorry, this is a bit out of what we are talking about this afternoon. Thank you very much for all the explanations, but I'm just curious, can you give us some information about the grades from last year, please?
Okay.
When
Great. That's a good question. Of course, yes, it is. You need to get your grades. I will leave that. I will forward it to admin. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I will forward it to admin. But for LALT221, I must say that I'm very close to the stage of completing. I still receive I'm a bit very kind, actually. I still receive
Unmute, please. Everybody unmute.
No worries. As I've mentioned, I'm honest here. I've finished marking all assessment task 1 complete, assessment task 2 complete. Assessment task 3 is my little worry. I don't want people not, you paid for the fees, it's good you get the paper. I still receive assessment 3 from 2021 up to last month. I'm really finishing up your marking. So I am one of them that might have delayed our grade or your grade, and it's because it's some of us in the classroom. Okay, and I do understand situation, and I do understand that we have yes, it's both sides, but definitely before semester 1 finishes, from us, from Mrs. Simo, LALT121, our marks should go up to the admin. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Simo, thank you for the session this afternoon. It's great. I really enjoyed it, and thank you very much. All the best for the weekend. Have a nice weekend. See you next time.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, everyone. See you next week, same time here, 12:30 to 1:30 for some final summaries, and then I leave you to do your assessment. I know you're all very experienced teachers, you've got lots of knowledge. Thank you. You all have a good weekend.
Likewise.
Likewise.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.